Nation, welcome to episode 20 of the Steeler Culture Podcast. And boy, do we got a lot to talk about already. We got some breaking news pertaining to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Literally, as we scheduled this live stream, it was tweeted by, I think it was Ian Rappaport.
At first, Ian Rappaport, boom, trade. The Steelers have made a trade. They have traded away offensive lineman Kevin Dotson to the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
Dotson is no longer here. He is no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, man, and we all knew this was a possibility, especially seeing who they added in free agency and just how he was placed on the depth chart. And it seemed like it was coming to an end of Kevin Dotson's time and his stint in Pittsburgh. And today that confirms it, as he's going to Los Angeles to get a better chance of a starting gig and more playing time. And best of luck to Kevin Dotson, sincerely. You know, you guys can think of Kevin Dotson any way you want. We have our own personal feelings on Kevin Dotson as a football player and what he's done as an offensive lineman. But truthfully, we all wish him the best in the world and the best in the future. Of course. So, to Kevin Dotson, we got to say initially thank you and good luck to you in Los Angeles, sincerely. But he has been traded. We have a $10 super chat from Icy Roads. We got to say trade offer, or you receive $10, I receive a con emote.
Hey, King Con emote, man.
You know, I actually have one already made.
Yeah, we do. It's
We already have one made. We actually initially had it up, but we took it off for reasons, because we took it off because we thought we made better emotes for you guys to use in the chat, especially for game day. I'm not sure if I am able to put a con emote yet. The way to do that is for more members to join. The more members we have, the more emotes we can put. But we do have one made, so that is going to happen. So Icy Roads, you will get your money's worth, and we appreciate $10. But not only are we going to talk about Kevin Dotson and him being traded to the Rams, we're going to give our initial and pretty much only 53-man roster prediction for the Steelers when it comes to the 2023 roster and 2023 season. And because Dotson was traded, you know, we had to make a couple changes and some extra last-minute thoughts to our prediction, literally.
Yeah, some slight changes.
And I'm not going to lie to you, man. Kevin Dotson was initially on our 53-man roster to make the roster because we needed the depth. But it seems like the Steelers already like the depth that they have, and he's been traded. So, again, good luck to Kevin Dotson. And I'm not going to lie, man. This was something that we've been entertaining the idea of since the draft. For those that have been following us since the draft, you know, there were, I think, 3 consecutive mocks we made during the mock draft season where we entertained the idea of trading Kevin Dotson to the Seahawks and even to the Bucs, because at the time those were guard-needy teams, and they even had the capital that they could sacrifice for Kevin Dotson. And that would have allowed us to potentially trade up or trade back. We all know what eventually happened during the draft, and Dotson was here up until now. He was here for the entirety of Steelers training camp and preseason. Yeah. He did not play last Thursday, which is a little telling. And now
although I think that was due to a minor injury he may have sustained.
But there's always something in between the lines.
Yeah, there always is, especially when it comes to a guy in Dotson's position. Yeah. You know, the Steelers did give him a true final chance to remain on the team, to prove himself even as a depth piece. But obviously with Nate Herbig and his versatility and just how he was in the preseason and all training camp, I could even say the same about Spencer Anderson, our 7th-round rookie, versatile chess piece on the offensive line. Dotson just served no role. He was just probably the most expendable player to have on the roster, and we got some decent capital out of it.
Yeah, we did, man. We got here's the complete trade details. Here's the compensation that we're gonna get for Kevin Dotson. And you know, looking at it and seeing that we drafted Kevin Dotson in the 4th round, and I think it was 2020. And, you know, he started for us for like 2.5 years, close to almost 3 years, right? And showed promise in his rookie year, and he was switched to left guard, and we always thought he was out of position there. But ultimately it didn't work out, thus he's being traded now. No. But the capital we got for him, for drafting him in the 4th and having him start for a couple years, and then signing Sayamalo and Herbig, and then getting this out of him is very solid, and honestly you could say very good compensation for Kevin Dotson. So the Steelers trade Kevin Dotson, a 2024 5th-round pick, and a 2025 6th-round pick to the Rams. For the Rams, 2024 4th-rounder and a 2025 5th-rounder. So they trade up in the next 2 drafts. So from my understanding, we have 2 2024 4ths and 2 2025 5ths. So we trade up in the draft while also getting rid of Kevin Dotson.
Yeah.
So seeing where we drafted him a couple years back and his experience and what value the Rams clearly thought he had, that's very good capital for him.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Rams, man, no disrespect to the Rams, but obviously, they traded everything. They traded the whole farm for a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They got it, but now they're starting to have to rebuild now, right?
Yeah, they're not the superstar team they used to be. They only have about 2 megastars in Cooper and Donald.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, it's just people hanging on the needle of a thread, really.
Exactly. So, again, not to discredit the Rams, and especially not to discredit Sean McVay, but they are not the same team they were, like you said.
And if they have another down year, whether if it's injuries or just bad play, if they have another down year, that just makes this trade even better for the Steelers because their picks will be much earlier for day 3.
Exactly. Think about it. The Rams 2024 fourth will most likely be before ours. So we're going to have an early 2024 fourth on top of our later one, right? Projectedly. If the Rams have a very bad down year, you're looking at you're almost looking at like almost another 3rd round selection. Only very early into day 3, which you already know some day 2 guys are going to fall out into day 3.
Yeah.
It happens every year. In which we could get another potential steal in the 4th. We could get someone like another Nick Herbig, right? We got Nick Herbig at what pick was it?
I want to say it was 135.
130 something, 132, I think, something like that.
Somewhere around that range. Yeah, nonetheless, already looking like a steal.
Yes.
Already looking like a steal with how far Nick Herbig fell in the draft.
So if we have a higher pick in the 4th next year with Omar Khan, Andy Weil still doing their magic, right? We could get a nice solid day 2 guy that for some reason fell into day 3. And then we're looking at another mid-round steal potentially.
Yeah, if this past draft was any glimpse of what's to hold for the future with King Kong as GM, then this makes me excited.
Yeah. So very good capital we got out of Kevin Dotson, and sincerely, we do wish him the best in his future endeavors. Good luck to the Rams, and depending on how he is, depending on where he starts, or if he starts, or whether he plays or not, you never know how anything goes. We will be playing Kevin Dotson in Los Angeles, I believe. Is it week 7? Which is right after our bye.
You might be correct on that.
I think it's in Los Angeles, week 7 after our bye. That's when we will be seeing Kevin Dotson again in SoFi Stadium. So we'll see Kevin Dotson then, man. But sincerely, good luck to Kevin Dotson, and thank you for everything. But truthfully, man, not to be brutal here, but there was a reason why they went out. There's a reason why the Steelers went out and signed Sayamalu and Nate Herbig. You're already seeing the effects of that.
Yeah.
It's better depth, better experience, much more trustworthy, and Nate Herbig can do everything needed interiorly for the Steelers' offensive line depth.
Yeah. So the writing was already on the wall for Kevin Dotson after those 2 were signed.
It was only a matter of time.
They gave him a chance. They really did. Dotson just never took it.
Yeah, and now this potentially opens a roster spot for an additional lineman or maybe an additional receiver or linebacker or secondary guy. We'll talk about it in our prediction, which we'll get into shortly. Shout out to Corey Force for the 199. Says, what's up? Says, what's good? Y'all hope everyone having an amazing day. Our day's
Absolutely.
going very solid, man. Very solid. Hope you guys are having a great day. Appreciate all you guys joining us tonight for the live stream for the 53-man roster prediction for the episode 20 of the Steelers Culture Podcast. Appreciate every last one of you. But the Steelers did trade Kevin Dotson. Breaking news. And it goes to show you, man, Omar Khan and the Steelers can make any trade, any move, any day. They've already made some initial cuts to the 53, and now they trade Kevin Dotson.
Yeah, they did.
There could be more trades. There could be some waiver claims. Absolutely. Try to better some other positions in the 53. We'll talk about it. We're definitely going to talk about it. But before we get into it, we got to give a shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's episode of the podcast and sponsoring the podcast in general. You guys want to go to a Steelers game or any event or whatnot, right? SeatGeek is the place you guys should be going. They have it at very affordable prices, very low prices. It tells you if you're getting a good, great, or a bad deal. When you go to your section or any of your projected seats you're looking at, it gives you a nice view of where you'll be sitting and how the site will look. And the best part, at checkout, when you go to purchase your tickets, you can put in the code SteelTwins at checkout to save $20, $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. So shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's podcast episode. I already know I'm looking into some tickets, potentially an event in Hershey happening this Friday. I'm just saying.
You're going to go see somebody you can't see?
Exactly.
Man, what a
But
waste.
SeatGeek's where I'm looking at, and they got the cheapest price I can find it because everyone's price tickets are going up. SeatGeek still got it at a very affordable price. So SeatGeek is where you guys should be going to get any of your event tickets. So shout out to SeatGeek for that. Now let's get into the 53-man roster prediction. Obviously, we got to start at quarterback. We're going to go from quarterback all the way down to special teams.
Yeah, I mean, quarterback's pretty much a no-brainer. I mean,
I don't even have to tell you. We can just move on to running back. And even that, I don't have to tell you. But quarterback, Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph. No surprise there.
yeah.
And can we talk about Kenny Pickett a little bit?
Go for it.
Because
gladly.
I know, like the Steelers are running hot off of truly a flawless preseason, especially from the first team offense. A flawless preseason. So much promise. But a lot has to be in favor of Kenny Pickett and how he's just progressed and improved from year 1 to year 2. You already see it in a lot of factors, a lot of aspects, man. You watch the year 1 tape to the year 2 tape, man. It's just literally slowing down for him. The way he makes his reads, the way he acts under pressure, the way he just acts against the defense. His throws are more pristine. He's just a lot more calm in the pocket. His pocket movement is so cool now. I mean, Kenny Pickett is making a huge jump in so many aspects.
Yeah, big time.
And, Kenny Pickett is just a film junkie. We all know this. There's 2 things that is always about Kenny Pickett that he's remaining to stay with and trying to improve on. It's field and film, the 2 Fs. He's always studying on each of that. He's always on the field and he's always watching the film. If he's not doing any of that, then he's probably doing what Kenny Pickett likes to do in his off time. But you're seeing the progression already in preseason.
Yeah.
And Kenny Pickett, I know there's a lot of positives we can point out about the Steelers preseason and who was the MVP and who shined the most, right? But Kenny Pickett especially, because obviously this team goes as far as Kenny goes.
Of course.
And to see his growth already in preseason, it's very vivid. It's so evident.
Yeah.
And it's great to see, and we can only hope that this proceeds into the regular season. We can only hope this translates into every Sunday.
And that's something that I read on Twitter a couple of days ago. It was actually before the Falcons game. I think he was questioned about the preseason, what he thinks. He's looking good. All his drives were touchdowns, stuff like that. And he pretty much said, it's great, but at the end of the day, it still doesn't count. But we still got to go out there and do what we got to do as a collective team, as a collective unit, and score points.
Just because it's preseason doesn't mean, we didn't score a touchdown. It's okay. No, it's not okay. It's preseason. It doesn't matter. Does it or does it not matter? I think it really matters.
No, it matters big time.
It matters big time.
But even when he is scoring, he's still like, it still don't matter. But whatever we're doing does have to translate to the regular season.
Exactly, man.
So it's like, even with the success that we've seen in the preseason, he's not running with that success. He's still calm, cool, collected.
He's trying to better himself.
And he's taking himself and this team with him to the regular season. It's like, we have to do this exactly in the regular season.
He's always about bettering himself, man. That's what you want in a franchise guy, and Kenny is already showing that. Every single drive he led this team was a touchdown. 5 of 5, all his drives were touchdowns, man. And some of them were against first-team offenses. You got to remember that.
Yep.
And, he's getting aggressive in the way he throws the ball. He's, the offense in general is just executing better. Their play calls are getting more creative, right? I mean,
more chunk plays, middle of the field targeting.
You got to love it. You got to love it. But you got to love especially the front and center guy that we're going with is Kenny Pickett. And it's very evident in what he's doing and how he's growing. And, we can't wait for the regular season. He hopefully he has a true breakout year.
Yeah, his second year, man, it's going to be real exciting and interesting. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Running back, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Anthony McFarland. No-brainer.
No-brainer.
Wide receiver, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Allen Robinson, Calvin Austin III, and
Gunnar
Olszewski, not Miles Boykin. And we only keep 5 wide receivers. Why? Because the Steelers can live with 5 wide receivers. It wouldn't be the first time they did it. And this is one of the years they can truly sacrifice only having 5 wide receivers because we have so many slot options. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You want to put Pat at tight end, Darnell, or you want to put Pat in the slot and Darnell at tight end? Easy. You want to put Jalen Warren in the slot, Najee in the slot, Connor Hayward in the slot. You can do that with the backfield guys. You got Calvin Austin, Allen Robinson that can work in there. You can put Deontay in the slot if you ever wanted to. Put Allen and Pickens outside.
Of course.
It's filthy. We have so many slot options. We don't need to keep 6 receivers. They could keep Gunnar and Boykin for special teams value, but I think they only keep 5. I think they can live with only 5.
Yeah, and I think they keep Gunnar over Boykin. Now, Boykin is a great special teams player, but as far as, his receiving ability and his receiving threat, even for his size, hasn't really shown that too much. While Gunnar, we were very critical of Gunnar, especially last year when it came to the return game and him just as a receiver in general. But
there's a reason Steven Sims played a lot more over him.
Yeah, but you got to give Gunnar a lot of credit. It started with training camp. He was showcasing some solid receiving ability in training camp, and that did translate a little bit to the preseason. I didn't see him drop one ball. He still has that Swiss Army knife ability.
Yep, that man.
He's not the best at it, but he does carry that ability. Also, because Kevin Dotson is pretty much the primary return specialist.
Yeah.
But say something were to happen, knock on wood, for Kevin Dotson's sake, they do have a backup plan, and that is Gunnar.
Yeah, because otherwise, who's your backup plan? McFarland, maybe? But other than that, who is your backup plan? Maybe there's a guy I'm not thinking of, but truthfully, they might value that. I mean, they ran into issues last year. Calvin Austin in limited returns showed you he's going to be a great return specialist for us. With his speed and his range and him getting up the field, it's going to put our offense in great field position. And what we saw in preseason, they took advantage of that, But you're right. Now, they could value not only special teams primarily as the reason why the fifth receiver might make it. And Miles Boykin favors that.
Big time, yeah, you're right.
I don't think they're going to favor the receiver ability for a fifth wide receiver on the roster spot. They could, and if that's the case, Gunner's going to be the favorite. You guys may not like to hear this, but Gunner had a very underrated camp and preseason. That doesn't mean he's going to make an impact. That doesn't mean he's going to be a superstar. That doesn't mean he's going to see time on the field. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. There's 3 other guys I can think of before I would even choose Gunner on the field.
Of course.
But for the reasons you stated, I would have to agree. Although if Boykin makes it over Gunner, there's no...
I wouldn't hate either making over either one, or even both possibly making it. But I do think Steelers keep 5 receivers based off what you said, the targets we have on offense, and I think Gunner makes it over Boykin because of just the growth he has shown at wide receiver, and the depth capabilities he does bring at the receiver position. So,
how have you forgiven Gunner for the New England game? I haven't. I haven't even forgiven him for his muff versus the Jets. Before Kenny came in.
Yeah, Gunner was a headache last year. There's a reason why Steven Sims stepped in.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, if we kept Steven Sims, I would have been thinking, Gunner's gone. Gunner's out of here.
Although, granted, they could cut Gunner and save some extra capital, although they're not looking for capital at this point. They're not scraping the bottom of the barrel for capital. So I don't think they're going to...
They could have done that, say, this past offseason if they really wanted to, and use some of that money to re-sign Steven Sims with how he was doing. But Steven Sims ended up going to Houston, so we had to be stuck with Gunner. But Gunner has shown growth.
Yeah.
You have to admit that.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the tight ends. And this is why we say we keep 5 wide receivers, because the Steelers need to keep 4 tight ends. Yes, all 4, which is Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Zach Gentry, and Connor Hayward. Connor Hayward, as you guys know, is going to play the fullback tight end hybrid. He could be used in the backfield as a receiving guy or as a third down back. If you want to hand it to him in short yard situations, he's not your first, second, or even third option. He could be your third option, but, he's going to be using that factor.
He's just that all-around football player on offense.
But you need to keep 4 tight ends. You need to keep Hayward for that reason. And you need to keep Gentry not only for his size, but his blocking ability. Same thing with Darnell Washington. You need extra bodies there. And you need to be able to give Connor Hayward that flexibility to stay in the backfield.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's going to be put at the tight end position. And obviously for his size, that's not ideal. So keeping 5 wideouts allows us to keep all 4 tight ends. I think that's very necessary. And the Steelers are going to go very tight end heavy this year. Offensive line. And before we get into the line, I definitely want to get to a question I see in the chat, because this is something that definitely crossed our mind as well. Does trading Dotson mean Kendrick Green makes the team? That was asked by Joseph Kearney. Well, let's get into it, because that's a fear on everyone's mind right now. Offensive line: Dan Moore, Isaac Seumalo, Mason Cole,
Bebe,
James Daniels, Chuck Okorafor, Broderick Jones, Nate Herbig, Dylan Cook, and Spencer Anderson. That's non-offensive lineman. Kendrick Green, in our prediction, does not make the roster. Why? Because he can't.
Nor should he.
Why would he make the roster? He sucks. He is the worst center in Steelers history. I am not capping on that. He is one of the worst picks in Steelers history. The Steelers need to cut that cord, okay? It's over.
Now, there's always the possibility, because especially after Dotson's trade, that Green could take that spot from Dotson.
And they don't have a true backup center, and that is the biggest question mark coming into the final cuts in the 53. which could lead to the Steelers potentially making a trade or a waiver claim to improve the backup center position. But you have Nate Herbig for that reason. He can play both guard and center.
Yeah. Same
thing with Spencer Anderson. I know he's a 7th-round rookie, but they're going to want to use his versatility. They adore that especially. And Dylan Cook is also versatile, but the reason we have Dylan Cook on here, especially since Dotson is gone, that opens up his chance of making the roster, because outside of Broderick Jones and Dan Moore, we have no tackles. And Dylan Cook's a guy that saw snaps over a free agent signing, LaRaven Clark, and saw second-team reps.
Yeah, he surpassed him on the depth chart. LaRaven Clark is looking like he's going to get cut.
So I think Dylan Cook as a backup right tackle is a good idea, and as a potential emergency left guard.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he makes roster. I think he's deserving. I think he showcased enough not only in camp but preseason. The fact he saw an increase of reps is a main reason for that. There's a reason he got that. So.
It's very telling. It's very telling. And some of the reps he got, he wasn't too shabby.
Yeah.
When it comes to a backup right tackle position, you can't really hate it. I think it's something that the Steelers may very well do. Boost up the tackle position. Nate Herbig just seems to be the guy for the interior offensive line there. You could say the same about Spencer Anderson. And when it comes to Spencer Anderson, because he is a 7th-round rookie, but he is that versatile piece, that chess piece all around the offensive line.
Yep.
And say Kendrick Green does make it, right? Kendrick Green and Dylan Cook make it, right? But then you run the risk of losing your 7th-round offensive lineman right there.
Right.
And do the Steelers really want to risk losing that?
And you could say, it's just a 7th-round pick, no harm, no foul. But you're right. You are missing a versatile piece.
And something tells me that the Steelers are not going to want to lose that or risk losing that. No. They're going to want to at least make sure, because Spencer Anderson deserves to be on the 53. I think he showcased enough with not only his versatility, but he's pretty dependable.
Plus, he is a Maryland cat.
And he was pretty dependable wherever he was on the line from what I've seen and you've seen. So,
and I think depth like that is much better than last year.
Yeah.
Much better than last year.
Yeah, big time. Much better compared to like Trent Scott and Jesse Davis.
And Kendrick Green.
Yeah, it was not looking good. So the depth this year looks much more improved.
Right. And if Spencer Anderson makes the roster, he might be the Kendrick Green role next or this year as the every game inactive, but that's what his role is. He would still be on the roster.
And that would make sure that he stays on the 53 rather than him potentially being signed to the practice squad. He could be signed by another team, and hence the Steelers lose the 7th-round rookie.
Right.
When they could use him as a developmental piece.
But moving on to the defense, defensive line, Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton, Montravius Adams, DeMarvin Leal, Brandon Fioku, and Armon Watts. Isaiah Loudermilk does not make it. Now, they could keep 8 defensive linemen, and they could have Loudermilk make the roster. They could keep less offensive linemen to keep Loudermilk on the roster. I could definitely see that. I wouldn't mind that. I like Loudermilk. I do. But I think they're going to value not only Adams and Fioku and Watts' double team ability, but also their starting experience. Loudermilk, unfortunately, last year was a guy that wasn't every game inactive until injuries came around, until Ogunjobi went down and Leal was on IR for a couple weeks. That's when Loudermilk started playing. So he hasn't gotten a true chance to play that backup role, but now that we got Leal and we got Benton, who could be a potential 3-down guy, we got Fioku, who can work in double teams, right?
Yeah.
So I think those guys make the roster. I mean, Adams could be out of luck. He could be on the chopping block. Maybe they keep Adams. Maybe they keep Loudermilk over Adams.
Yeah, Adams could be another guy that the Steelers could be looking to potentially trade away for more extra cap picks, or maybe even a player for player as far as depth goes for another position.
Right.
That's always a possibility, but with that position, the position he plays, D tackle, Ben could very well be the day one starter, and he arguably is, but there's always a possibility that the Steelers want to have Ben continue to develop even as the backup and have Adams.
Ben is the day one starter.
He probably is. You're right, but I'm just speaking hypothetically here. Maybe they want Adams to fill in for a game or two, maybe for a full month, 4 weeks,
well,
and then
maybe. But you're going up against Chris McCaffrey week 1. I'm not playing a guy that wasn't massive in our.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm just speaking hypothetically here. Plus, Adams' starting experience and depth capabilities is what, and as well as he's teaching the young guys and everything that could help him.
Yeah.
Earn a starting role on the not a starting role, but a roster role. That's what I meant.
Between Adams, Fioku, and Watts and Loudermilk, they're all potentially on the chopping block. They're all going to be guys that could or could not make the roster. It's going to be a real close and tough decision for the Steelers. Or they could keep all of them. They could keep 8 defensive linemen. We don't really know.
It's possible. It really is.
Inside linebacker, Cole Holcomb, Quan Alexander, Atlanta Roberts, Mark Robinson, and Tanner Muse. 5 linebackers. I know many people are projecting only 4, but they're going to need that special teams factor. They're going to need that special teams missile, and that is Tanner Muse.
Yeah, not only that, it's always a tradition for the Steelers to have at least 5 inside linebackers. Right. They do it year after year after year. I think it's something they do again, and Muse is that special teams ace for the inside linebackers there.
He's pretty much going to be our new Marcus Allen, only much better. That's how I see it. They could keep 6. They could keep Kwiatkowski as well to have 2 special teams gunners there. I know Mark Robinson's going to get his feet wet a lot, but I think there's got to be a way we can put him on with the starting off defense.
Yeah.
There just has to be a way. He deserves it.
In some form of rotation or somewhat.
Right. So they could keep Muse and Kwiatkowski, or they could keep Kwiatkowski over Muse, but I think Muse's experience on special teams is a lot more valuable for him to make the roster.
Not only that, but the speed as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speed plays a big part when it comes to special teams nowadays.
Yep. Edge. We got T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Marcus Golden, and Nick Herbig. No surprise there.
Only 4. That's all you really need.
And that is the best edge group we have had since Highsmith's rookie year.
Yeah. Ever since then, it has been pretty bare. It's been non-existent. But now Marcus Golden, even for his age, was he like 32? He seems like he doesn't age one bit.
No, he's always been.
And then Nick Herbig, forget about it. Forget about it. Nick Herbig, the man's a stud.
You talk about MVPs of preseason. Nick Herbig's on top of that list.
The man's an absolute stud. I look forward to this edge class this year.
Good Lord, man. Nick Herbig is just I don't understand it.
I look forward to this front 7 altogether.
I look forward to a lot.
The D-line, the edge rushers, the inside linebackers, how everything is completely revamped as far as, the starters and the depth. Like, holy freaking shit. Swear jar.
Right.
It's so revamped, and in a good way. And it's much more dependable, at least on paper, but from what we've seen on the preseason, it's very promising.
Right.
Very, very promising.
Cornerback, we got Patrick Pearson, Levi Wallace, Joey Porter Jr., James Pierre, Shannon Sullivan, and Elijah Riley. 6 DBs, 6 corners to be exact.
If you want to count Riley as a cornerback.
I count him as a corner. I know he has experience at safety, but he's not going to play that. He's going to be the slot corner.
More than likely, yeah.
Elijah Riley and Shannon Sullivan are going to split reps as our slot corner.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty solid. It may not be the best option, but it's the best option we got for now. And they both made very good plays in that area.
Yes, they did.
As that nickel blitz guy, as getting picks in preseason, as we saw. So
yeah, but James Pierre, we have him make the list here, but
I'm not confident in saying that because
let's face it, this preseason he wasn't really too great.
No, we were not impressed whatsoever in James Pierre this preseason.
Not at all.
Every time the ball was thrown his way, it was a completion, it was a first down. He was 5 yards off his receiver. It was ridiculous.
I hardly saw any sort of play from Pierre outside of a tackle or two, really. That's it.
He's been a very decent depth piece. He's someone that we could fill in for a game or two.
And I think that's why we're predicting he makes a roster, because when it comes to outside cornerback depth or rotations at corner, James Pierre is like the only credible one that we have at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's not really a good thing, but that's probably the only thing that's really going to keep James Pierre around with the team.
In that experience.
Because we have no choice there.
And the Steelers really like him. But, again, what has Khan shown you since coming into the front office as GM, right? No one's safe. No one's job is safe. He proved that with Kevin Dotson and Kendrick Green. And potentially even Dan Moore, although Dan Moore is going to be the starting left tackle week 1. In our opinion. But no one's job is safe.
So who's to say that, Pierre makes the initial, but who's to say that Khan doesn't pick up somebody that got cut or is on waivers, have him be the replacement, and Pierre as good as gone?
Or maybe he trades James Pierre. We don't know. There could be more trades coming. More trades could be happening, folks, and James Pierre could be one of those guys.
Very well.
I know he might not have a lot of value, but if there's a potential player-for-player swap, then Khan might take it to improve that position. I think that's one we need to improve. I used to be confident in James Pierre, and coming off of this preseason, I'm not no more. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I really don't.
But in our prediction, he makes the roster. So, safety, Minka Fitzpatrick, Keanu Neal, DeMonte Casey, and Miles Killebrew. We really entertained Trenton Thompson, but I don't know how they keep 5 safeties. I don't know how they fit them on the roster.
I think they keep 10 defense backs altogether, 6 corners and 4 safeties.
Yeah.
And another guy that we were also considering was Trey Norwood. but I hardly ever saw him when it came to training camp. Oh, not training camp, preseason, but even at training camp, he had his ups and downs throughout the whole training camp.
And I didn't see him I know he played special teams, but I didn't see Trey. He was a ghost out there. I didn't see Trey Norwood one bit.
Not on defense. It was more so Kenny Robinson and Trent Thompson.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I don't think Norwood makes the team.
I don't think so
not the 53.
He's definitely a candidate for the practice squad. They can fit 16 practice squad players, so
Yeah, he's a big candidate for that.
he'll probably find a new home there. But
it's kind of unfortunate because his rookie year, he was that Swiss Army knife, and he was pretty, he was pretty solid in his rookie year. He made some solid plays.
he did.
I don't know what it was.
They should have locked him specifically as the slot corner.
That's what I was going to get to. Maybe it was the case of Steelers trying to make him as a pure safety, fit him at the safety position full time, to which that's not Trey Norwood's go-to.
No,
he's not a pure safety.
That was evident in the Chargers game on Sunday night. I think that was.
Yeah, he in me and Dan's eyes, he was never a pure safety.
He's a liability there, but the Steelers keep him there, and I don't see him making the roster. I don't. Epic Sports 8 says, I like the Dotson trade. I give it a 7 out of 10. I would agree.
Yeah.
Steel you, how you doing, man? Good to see you in the chat.
That was you. What's going on?
Says, Omar Khan strikes again. Yes, he does.
You know it, man. You know it.
And he's not done. He's definitely not done.
Omar Khan he's never done.
King Khan is always busy, bro. What's your thoughts on the Seahawks wanting to trade Bush?
Wait, is that true? That don't surprise me.
That's all I gotta say. Good luck.
I haven't really paid attention to Devin Bush. Why should I?
Seattle, good luck. You'll be lucky if you get a singular ice cube for that guy. It won't even make it through shipping. Not even with dry ice, bro.
Maybe Arizona could give them a call.
Yeah, because they just traded Simmons, but they didn't put him at linebacker.
Yeah, but they could use one, right?
Yeah, it fits perfectly, right? The Steelers graveyard. Why not fit another linebacker?
I swear to God, if that freaking happens.
God, man.
Seems like every Steeler goes to the Cardinals for some odd reason. Several freaking tons of Steelers have been to the Cardinals.
That would be, if I'm correct, that would be the second first-round linebacker that the Steelers have drafted in the past decade that went to Arizona, along with Jarvis Jones.
Yes.
So, it's possible.
Yes.
And special teams, Chris Boswell, Presley Harvin, and Christian Kuntz, not Brandon Mann. No. Brandon Mann had a very good showing in preseason, man. It was neck and neck in that last preseason game.
Both had very strong showings.
But I think they're going to keep Harvin.
I think they stick with their punter. Yeah. I think their true punter.
Right.
The person they drafted.
And every single punt he had, I would say he also had a flawless preseason. Every punt he had was inside the 20. He tried to pin it deep. It was never one of those where he tried to aim for the sideline and he whiffed it and it was closer than what it should have been, right? He really tried to pin it in the end zone, and he gave the special teams coverage the chance to pin it even deeper.
Yeah, every punt we saw, was a booming punt inside.
I'm not saying Brandon Mann didn't do it, but he wasn't as consistent. But can Presley Harvin do this in the regular season,
Yeah.
That's his problem, is consistency, and it also comes with weather change. Can you do that with the weather change?
Of course, especially at Heinz Field.
And when it gets colder and the wind starts picking up, yeah, I mean that's the big problem here. That's the big problem here. But I think they keep Presley Harvin. So a couple players that don't make the initial roster.
Now keep in mind, this is our initial roster predictions.
Right.
The initial roster ain't always final.
Right. So it could be Miles Boykin, Kendrick Green, Isaiah Loudermilk, Nick Witkowski, Trey Norwood, and Brandon Mann. Those are guys we don't have on here, but I could see them potentially making it. I could
see Boykin making it. I could see Loudermilk making it. Kwiatkowski making it.
Even Green. But they need to cut that cord.
They do, but I don't know. It's like every once in a while, the Steelers always have this one player that they just can't seem to, even if it's a depth guy. Because remember Daniel McCullers?
Yeah.
Remember him? He was
I'll give you a more recent option. Benny Snow.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank God for Jalen
It just never worked out, and it's not going to work out with Kendrick Green. I'm sorry, but I can see the Steelers keeping a hold of him on the practice squad. I really freaking could.
This has to be the year where it's up, right? It has to be the year. But he could make the practice squad. It's possible.
Yeah, very possible.
Players to consider for the practice squad. So Kendrick Green, Xavier Valade, the one running back we brought in late that showed a little bit of burst.
Yeah.
So we could bring him in as a practice squad piece. How about Aaron Cruikshank, who the Steelers cut today? He wore number 84, and in the last game versus the Falcons on Thursday, he had a couple deep shots thrown his way. which were obviously out his reach. I think Mason threw all of them. It was like 2 or 3 deep shots. And I would love to see, like, if they connected, what his chances could have been. But I think because of that deep threat ability, and Mason did challenge him a lot there, they might like that factor.
Yeah, they may see what they have liked for, the little bit he was around and sign him up for the practice squad if he wants to stay.
I would.
These are, all offers for these players, it's their desire if they want to stick around or not.
Exactly.
Because when it comes to the NFL, another opportunity could open up for them, and they may just take that.
Yep. All depends, man. All depends, man. Miles Boykin potentially. How about a Rodney Williams? If the tight end depth wasn't so heavy, I think he would have a solid chance of making the 53. Ryan McCollum.
Yeah, in my opinion, the better backup center than Kendrick Green.
Yeah.
In my opinion, honestly.
Isaiah Loudermilk, or maybe even if Adams gets cut or Watts get cut, they could be given an offer here. Nick Kwiatkowski, Quincy Roche, who had a sack. I think he had 2 sacks in the preseason. So,
yeah.
Luke Barco, one of the guys we signed from the XFL. Madre Harper, Kenny Robinson, who had the most picks in camp. Obviously Trenton Thompson, who in preseason, he really showed like he can hit. He plays like a steel. He plays like he's a hot missile.
Yeah,
honestly.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Trenton Thompson and what he did in the preseason. I don't think he makes the initial 53, but as far as a practice squad player goes, I think he's the one guy that I'm looking to keep with the team.
Absolutely.
In some way, form or fashion.
Yeah, I like what we saw, and I think he'll be a nice piece on special teams with his just the way he plays, his intensity.
Yeah.
BT Potter and Brandon Mann, those are guys to consider for the practice squad. Obviously, other waiver claims, other cuts they could potentially throw flyers at. So it all depends on who gets cut throughout the next coming days. Because
which I do have the list of the Steelers that they have cut as of right now. The initial cuts they did. Obviously today was Aaron Cruikshank. The other guys was wide receiver Dan Chizana, defensive back Neville Clark, linebacker Kwani Dang, cornerback Madre Harper, defensive lineman James Nyawama, kicker BT Potter, linebacker Forrest Ryan, and long snapper Rex Sunahara. So those are the guys that the Steelers have initially cut as of right now. Some of the guys could be looking to be an offer on the practice squad. To other teams' practice squad, we don't know.
Yeah.
Out of the 2 guys on the list, or 3 guys, is Aaron Cruikshank, Madre Harper, and BT Potter, at least for me, when it comes to being offered for the practice squad.
Yeah,
just
I
guys
agree.
to keep around just as special teams insurance, insurance for other, positions, stuff like that.
But those are just the initial cuts that the Steelers have made. And by the way, the Steelers do officially announce on their official Twitter that they have traded Kevin Dotson to
yeah, it is official.
the Rams. So again, to I suppose relate the info, the Steelers receive a 2024 4th round pick and a 2025 5th round pick, while the Rams receive Kevin Dotson, a 2024 5th and a 2025 6th. So the Steelers just trade up in the next 2 drafts. And again, with what we did with Dotson and where we drafted him, it's good capital, honestly. I'd say it's very fair capital for the Steelers.
Indeed.
And again, I don't think the Steelers are done. I don't think Khan is done. I think they are ready to not only get as much more capital, especially mid-round capital, but improve the other depth positions. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe the mid-round capital they got, they trade that to improve other positions like backup center or safety or slot corner.
Or outside corner, too.
Or outside corner, right? That's very possible. They could be gaining this capital just to trade it and gain better capital.
Yeah.
Who knows, man?
Obviously, moves ain't done yet. Omar Khan, Mike Tomlin, and company have a lot of decisions to make as far as trimming the roster down to 53.
It's a lot of tough decisions, man. It's a rough time for NFL teams and NFL offices.
And a lot of NFL players at the same time.
But obviously the journey does not end here. It does not end here for a lot of players. But, it's a business. Unfortunately, this is an important part of the season. But, again, it's the NFL. It's a business. Steelers have a lot of tough decisions to make. They've already made some tough decisions. They've already made some moves. And you should expect more moves to be coming throughout not only tomorrow, but especially Tuesday, because the deadline is Tuesday, where they have to trim the roster to the 53. So more cuts are coming, and you should expect them in bulks of announcements, I suppose.
Yeah, of course.
So we'll see what the Steelers do in the next coming days as we approach much closer to Tuesday. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But I think the obvious guys that are going to make the 53 are obviously the obvious.
Yeah.
And for good reason. But when you look at this 53, at least our projected 53, a couple things will probably be wrong, and guys can make the roster over certain individuals.
Listen. No prediction is perfect.
No.
Never.
But when I look at this and I see the majority of the depth, it's really good compared to the last couple years.
Yes. Big time, man. The wide receivers, the tight end is loaded. Offensive line.
Linebacker, edge. I mean.
The defensive line.
Yeah.
Like, it's significantly improved.
Right.
And a lot of that was done because of Omar Khan.
Absolutely.
This past offseason.
Absolutely. We could have got Rashawn Gary. What are you relating to that? Trading or drafting him? I mean, I'm not.
Was that what year? What year was he selected? Was it the same year as
Bush?
Let me take, because I cannot remember for the life of me. Give me a minute.
I think that was the same year as Bush, 2019. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah, obviously Green Bay Packer, 2019, the 12th pick. Bush was the
10th pick. We traded from 20 to 10 up to the Broncos.
Yeah.
But at that time, we didn't need edge.
No, we didn't.
We had Dupree.
Yeah, Dupree was really starting to break out,
So
we didn't really need
Rashawn Gary.
No.
We need a linebacker badly, and that's why they panicked and traded up for Bush. It was a tough decision.
Yeah, because around that time,
it was a tough position they were put in.
Yeah. Inside linebacker was the position they had to go with after what happened.
Like, you could look back at it and say, man, the Steelers made a terrible trade, and yes, they did. They did. Bush was a terrible pick, a true bust, a true disappointment. And yes, he had big shoes to fill, but that's what you expect with a first-round pick, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, the Steelers really had a tough decision they were in. They had to get themselves out of a corner.
Yeah, inside linebacker was the biggest hole at the time. Obviously, we know what happened with Shea Gier, and we only filled that position with Vince Williams, who was obviously still with the team, and John Bostic.
Yeah.
The 2018 year. So we had to make a move there. And at the time, it was the right move because it was needed.
And linebacker that year, it was White and Bush, and that was it. Who was the next linebacker drafted after that?
I don't know. I mean, you tell me.
I'm trying to find.
I can't remember. I can't.
I mean, inside guy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it wasn't in the first round.
So at the moment, the Steelers had to make the move, especially since the Bengals were in front. And that would have made our inside linebacker position even more bare if the Bengals would have taken him. I mean, Bush would have failed with the Bengals still, but...
It was a weak linebacker class. I mean, I think the next guy... I could be wrong on this, but I know one of the next guys drafted was Jermaine Pratt to the Bengals, who we really liked at NC State. But at the time, were they going to wait till day 2 to get someone like a Jermaine Pratt? Looking back at it, they could have done that, but again, they were really stuck with what they had at linebacker.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, they had to do what they had to do. Unfortunately, it was a rough year and it was rough timing.
It's a risk that the Steelers were willing to take, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the case.
Yeah,
It's a risk in the NFL that many teams would. I mean, look at the Niners, for example. Look at Trey Lance.
Yep.
That's a big risk that they were willing to take, and look at Trey Lance now. He's a cowboy.
I don't know what the Niners are doing.
He's a cowboy, so it's big. Many teams take those big risks. It's up to the player to see if. Not just the player, but obviously the development and the coaches and everything plays a big factor in the player's success. But
yeah, absolutely.
It just didn't work out. Sometimes that happens.
Exactly. Yes, Darnell Washington will be the tight end too. They drafted him in the 3rd round to be the tight end too. You already saw in preseason when they use him in 12 personnel or they use him as the run blocking guy. They use him in goal line. The guy is a mauler as a blocker. That's what you knew you were getting in the draft, and it's as advertised. This guy's a bully. This guy is a tank when it comes to blocking. He's going to be a big factor for helping Najee and Warren, respectively.
Yeah.
Along with his improved offensive line. Do you think McFarland makes it? Yes, we have him in our 53. Who else would make it?
I think he's the pure running back 3.
It's not going to be not Le'Veon Bell, I can tell you right now.
No, it's not going to be Darius Hagans or anybody else like that. No, it's Anthony McFarland. He made the most of the opportunity for that position. And props to McFarland for real, because a couple times I think he was even cut and signed to the practice squad, including last year.
Yeah.
He was looking like, it was a waste of a pick in the 4th round
and
many years ago.
And you could say, and I'm sure someone's probably going to say, you could say, oh, well, cut McFarland and sign James Robinson, who was just cut by the Giants. I don't know what happened to James Robinson. I don't know why teams are being disrespectful to him. I don't know.
Maybe it's the running back position in general.
But you could do that, and yes, that's an upgrade, but you also can't discredit McFarland for what he did this preseason and this camp. He had a very good showing in preseason.
Now, if you were to do that, that's just being downright disrespectful to the grind that McFarland is trying to show this team.
Yeah.
When it comes to his speed, his return ability, and his receiving ability as a running back position.
You just got to use McFarland very schematically.
Exactly.
Bobby Okereke would have been a nice selection. Was he round 2 for Indianapolis?
Something like that,
I believe. Yeah, he would have been nice. He would have been a very good 3-4 inside guy. So, I mean, again, it's unfortunate. But seeing what we got now and seeing our depth at linebacker is much improved since then.
Yeah.
Drastically. And preseason showed that. I mean, Atlanta Roberts had a great showing versus the Falcons. Quan Alexander showed you immediately, hey, I'm here to bring back that linebacker reputation. Cole Holcomb, I mean, he's kind of like I don't want to say a jack of all trades, but he's like one of the only linebackers that can do a mix of everything. Yeah. Him and Quan, for sure.
Just giftedly athletic.
Yeah.
At their positions.
Does Gentry make the roster? I think so. I think I think the Steelers should give him a spot on the 53. I think they keep all 4 tight ends, including Connor Hayward, who's not going to play tight end.
No, not primarily. He's going to be that guy that you're going to move around in the offense. So
yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Hayward can play fullback, H-back, slot receiver, tight end a couple times, but you keep the 3 main tight ends and
you wouldn't have to put
Washington and Gentry.
You keep Hayward in that backfield, bro. That's where he belongs.
And you just got that size at tight end too. I mean,
yeah.
If I'm a team and I see all that talent and that size, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm keeping it.
Exactly, man. Exactly. It's a stacked tight end core right there. Who do you think will be team MVP? Well, the obvious favorite is TJ.
Could be TJ, could be Minka, could be Pickens if he breaks out, could be Hayward, could be any star individual on this.
Well, who won it last year? Wasn't it Minka last year?
I believe it was.
Was it Minka?
I believe.
Could be Minka again. If Watt stays healthy, it's gonna be Watt.
Could be Pickett.
Could be Pickett. But obviously, you gotta go heavy on the defense. So I'm probably gonna say Watt or Minka.
Yeah, I probably have to agree.
What happened to Mac Wilson from Alabama? Yeah, he fell off. He was a 5th-round pick for Cleveland, and now where's he at now?
I don't remember. I don't know. Is he?
Well, according to
he's on the Patriots.
He's on the Patriots. When did that happen?
On the Patriots?
God, he fell off. He fell off bad. He's one of those linebackers that looked good until his last year in college and fell off big time.
Well, knowing Bill Belichick, it doesn't matter who he's got. The players are just going to freaking play out there for him.
Yeah.
And even perform at average level and still be a solid team. I don't know what it is about Bill Belichick.
Starting to confuse the news. I agree. Spencer Anderson deserves a roster spot. That's why we put him in our 53 roster prediction.
Yep.
He should make it over Kendrick Green, not only because he's more versatile, but because you can't keep Kendrick Green, bro. You just can't. This has to be the year where you say, you know what, we fucked up, you're gone. You suck. Okay? Be blatant about it. Like, truthfully. Swear Joey.
No, seriously. Unless they keep him on the practice squad to continue fullback capabilities in practice, maybe.
They didn't do that in preseason.
They didn't, though. You're right.
I'm going to ask you guys in the chat. I want you guys' true, serious answers, okay? Because, unfortunately, I do think he makes it. But I want your true, genuine answers. Do you think Kendrick Green makes the 53 this year? Because we all agree this has to be the year he doesn't. But do you, in your honest, genuine opinion, think he makes the 53? Unfortunately, I think he do. He shouldn't. We all know this. We all agree, right? But I think, yeah, because Kevin Dotson was traded, Kendrick Green's job just might be safe, and that's stupid.
Yeah. Again, it just seems that one person that the Steelers can't seem to get rid of.
Yeah.
No matter how bad or just how lame they are as a player.
Yeah, Jacob, I think we're getting Sunday ticket as well. Shout out to FanDuel because we're gonna get $100 off on a little promo they had, so that's gonna be cool. Yeah, we're definitely getting that, so we don't miss any Steelers game or any game for that matter.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't have a fullback signed, but Connor Hayward can play that, so we don't have to worry about a fullback. If they want to bring back Derek Watt, by all means, but I mean we got Connor Hayward. They drafted him to be Derek Watt's replacement. The writing was on the wall a year ago.
Yeah.
So yeah. Levy says, but Belichick, as of late, has been folding against good teams late in the season since 2020. Yeah, that's because he lost Brady.
Yep. Now he's trying to...
Mac Jones ain't it,
Trying to ride the Mac train, man.
Mac Jones ain't it.
No.
So, Victory Asher says, unfortunately, Kendrick Green is staying. Kevin Green, I'm sorry, I don't mean to disrespect your name. Kendrick Green is staying. Raymond says no. Danielle says, unfortunately, yes, I think he will be staying. Mac will do. If he does make the 53, it is because of the fridge. That was his only chance initially. Me says no. Kendrick should not. Probably should just put Spencer in. I agree. Jonathan Harvey says Nick Herbig is going to be impactful in my opinion. Kendrick Green is safe, I think.
After this Dotson trade, probably. I mean,
let's see. Raymond says I say keep Miles Boykin, cut Gunner. They could go either way. They can go either way.
yeah.
Joseph says since Dotson has been traded, he has a better chance. Robode.
Spell it out.
Robode. I apologize if I pronounced that. Says Kendrick Green has to go. He's had way too many chances. He'll get our quarterback hurt. You're not wrong there, sir. Not wrong there.
3 strikes, you're out, Kendrick Green. Starting center rookie year, didn't really do much.
Yeah.
Switch it back to guard. In your second year last year, should never made a roster, but you were healthy and active every game. Third year, center again, and you haven't been that impressive.
Yeah, Epic Sports. I have files, but I don't know if is it just for new customers with that Sunday ticket deal? Because I already have files. I don't know if it's just for new customers.
I'm not sure.
Can I get $100 off from FanDuel and files? Is that theft? Or can I only do one promo code?
That's something.
I'm taking advantage of these coupons.
That's something you're gonna have to look.
I'm taking advantage of these coupons, if I'm able to. It's not breaking the law if they're giving me,
breaking the law.
You think they keep Kenny Robinson and Elijah Riley, or just one? I like both better than Sullivan in the slot. That's arguable. I even like Trenton Thompson, but he's more so like the safety role.
Yeah.
I don't know if they keep Kenny Robinson. I mean, obviously he was very impactful in camp. He had the most picks in camp this year.
Yeah, he did.
So they could keep both, but Tomlin said in his final press conference before the Falcons game that Elijah Riley and Chandon Sullivan were neck and neck, and he loved what both those guys were showing. So I think he's going to favor those two more.
Yeah. But Robinson, similar to Trenton Thompson, I think he's a guy the Steelers should look at keeping on the practice squad.
Yeah, totally. They spent considerable time like Kendrick Green as fullback in camp. Let your Greens cut. They should. I don't know why they did it. Do you think Kevin Dotson will break out as a kick and punt returner? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think I'm getting it next year or the week before the season starts. I think I'm getting it next week. I'm gonna put it in the thing next week. Zappy is the better option, and New England. Agreed. Wrong with the hot hand. Do you think how? Yeah, I already read that. I'm sorry.
Yes. I mean,
Twins, good to see y'all. Only way Kendrick Green stays is goal line run. You're right, but they didn't do that in preseason. So do they even entertain that? There was at one point in preseason, I think it was the week 2 game versus the Bills, where we were at the 1 for like 7 straight plays, and they kept giving it to McFarland before Connor scored a touchdown. And we're thinking, man, do the fridge here. Give it to Kendrick Green. They didn't.
I think at that time Green was the center there, but you still could have put McGollum in there, unless McGollum was a right guard or playing guard in there. But nonetheless, I mean,
at least put him in I form as the lead block.
Was Spencer Anderson in that formation? I can't remember because I think he was the 3rd team at the moment.
Yeah.
Because at that time I believe that was 2nd team because Mitch was the QB. So, rotate, man. Test it out. You're testing fullback in camp. Why can't you do it preseason?
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Do you think the Steelers will go out and sign another corner? I think they have to. I'm not confident in Pierre no more.
I think it's necessary.
All my confidence went right out the door.
I think it's necessary. And something tells me that Khan's just not going to let Pierre just settle down on the bench and just be safe.
They really should try to improve that position. I don't know who, but...
And see, that's what sucks about Corey Trice's injury. It really does because, we were all looking forward to seeing, how he was going to look in training camp and preseason, compete with Pierre. Both guys could have made it.
Yeah.
They could have probably actually kept 6 or 7 cornerbacks if you want to count Riley as a corner.
Yeah,
and still keep Chandon Sullivan. They could have kept that many if they wanted to, but Trice unfortunately got hurt.
Yeah.
So it sucks.
Parker Gamer says, "Hi, I am new." Well, welcome, Parker. Good to have you in the chat, man.
Yeah.
If you're new, feel obligated to hit that like, hit that subscribe to all you guys who might potentially be new here. So anything is very much appreciated, as is all you guys still watching us. Almost 300 yens here on a Sunday night. Breaking news. Is there any more Steelers news? I'm really hungry for news now. See, anytime, I don't know if it's just me, anytime the Steelers have any breaking news, I anticipate more to come soon.
I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Give me 1 moment.
I don't see anything on Twitter.
Outside of the Texans preseason game. Texans and Saints. Nope, not seeing anything.
So
nothing yet.
We'll have to hold our horses till tomorrow to see more news, see more cuts.
They're coming, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're definitely coming. We can expect it in big bulks of separate announcements. So, we'll see, man. Which game do you think will be the hardest game of the season? Good question. Good question. Oh, wow. I mean, the Niners is arguably one.
That's going to be a big test, that's for sure. I'm looking at the schedule right now.
Jags are going to be tough. They always have our number. I know it's in Pittsburgh, but they've always had a number.
I could say Green Bay, but I think that's too early to tell because that game's all the way in Week 10, and that's at Heinz Field.
Seattle's gonna be tough because we haven't ever beat Seattle in Seattle.
And that game's, I'm confident saying it's gonna have big playoff implications for both teams.
Yeah. Honestly, our toughest match. Obviously, the Raiders are always tough for us. Honestly, man, you know what? I'm gonna go Jags.
Could be the Jags
because they are a stacked team. They're ready to take that next step. Calvin Ridley's looking great in his year back, right?
They just seem to be going in the right direction with how much they added and what Doug Peterson is bringing to in the culture he's bringing and adapting with Trevor Lawrence with the Jags there. The Jags are definitely an upper rising team.
And they just always had our number, bro. The past couple of matchups we've had have always been tough.
Just close encounters and bangers, really.
Yeah, really. And some unfortunate memories, but yeah. But I would probably say that. I would probably say the Jags. I think that's underrated. Pierre is a situational guy. Would have been nice to see him break that ceiling. I know, man. I know. There was a lot of hype of him being an undrafted guy and making the roster in a year where there was no preseason because of COVID. He's a sub-package guy. He's someone you lean on for a game or two. But I don't know if I trust him no more. I was so unimpressed in preseason. If there's a way we can improve that position, potentially. I know someone in the chat said Greedy Williams. It was Joseph, I believe. I was never a fan of Greedy. Never a fan.
No, not at all.
And he can't stay healthy, so I was never a fan. I don't know if it's our best option, but...
See, that's that. I don't know who's, at the moment, out there. I really don't.
Maybe they trade for another experienced depth guy we're not even thinking of. Maybe they trade with the Eagles.
They could
for
do that.
For a depth piece. I don't know.
That's very possible. I don't know. This is what the next couple days are going to be very interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Hard to explain. 32 says literally all of them because his team doesn't like easy. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. We all love the potential of this team, but make no mistake about it. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers we're talking about. It's never pretty. It's always ugly, and there's always a heart attack every Sunday. You guys already know. You guys already know.
Just a gritty, gutsy matchup every time.
Will Keone Benton start? I believe so. I think he should. He has to.
I think he's shown enough.
He's our best option right now.
I think he's shown enough.
I hope he's healthy, though. With our improved offense and defense, I'm not too worried about the Bungles. Excited to see how we beat the 49ers. Me too. Me too, Mackle. Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too fearful of the Bengals. Yeah, I know they still have a great offense and stuff, but honestly, man, they lost a lot on defense.
That they did. They do have some second-year guys coming in, specifically in the secondary.
Well, we have the defense to go up against Burrow and them. Like, we've proved that.
Yeah.
Maybe not in recent years, but especially like when it's fully, like last year. In the week one matchup, when Watt was healthy.
Forget about it.
What was it, 5 turnovers? I know we almost still lost the game, and that says a lot about our offense last year. But now...
But it was a defensive domination against Cincinnati.
Dude, we've proven we can defensively match up with the Bengals offense, and the way our offense is showing, as long as it translates, and the Bengals did lose not only Jesse Bates, but Von Bell. They lost 2 great safeties. That's a lot.
I'm actually curious on who their safeties are.
I know they
at the moment.
What's that one dude they had last year?
Where is it? Daxon Hill.
There you go, Daxon Hill. I know he's going to be nice.
That's another second year coming. I don't know who's their starting, because he's going to be their free safety. I don't know who their strong safety is going to be. Jordan Battle. That's right. They did draft him. Jesus Christ.
He's solid.
I forgot all about him.
He's very solid.
I liked him a lot coming out of Bama.
But you're also asking a lot from two fresh guys.
Yeah, you are.
A lot of shoes to fill. So we have the offense on paper to match with their defense, and obviously our defense has proven they can match the Bengals offense. So I'm not fearful of the Bengals. I'm not fearful of any of the AFC's matchups.
The Bengals, they're a competitive team, but I'm not scared of them. Like you said, we've matched up with their offense. We know how to take them on and beat them. The Browns are not threatening until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
And the Ravens, I mean, when you have Lamar Jackson having to play quarterback, I mean, you're more likely going to win.
Yeah.
If you know how to game plan against Lamar and have him actually play the quarterback position, have him throw the ball, he's very inconsistent at that. It doesn't matter if he has freaking Zay Flowers or Odell Beckham or Mark Andrews. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He's very inconsistent when he comes to throwing the ball. It's easy to game plan against Lamar. When you do that, the Ravens are just very non-existent.
I'm going to have an incredibly hot take right now. I think Lamar Jackson is the worst quarterback in the AFC North. I think he's number 4.
Hence,
as a quarterback.
Quarterback.
Okay, as a quarterback.
Listen, Lamar's probably the most gifted athlete at the quarterback position in the North.
Arguably in the entire NFL. Truthfully.
Yeah.
But Ben said it himself, and he got a lot of can for it, but I don't think there was a lot of people that disagreed with him. No one fears Lamar Jackson, the quarterback.
But a lot of people...
You don't game plan against Lamar Jackson to be like, fuck, he's going to throw for 300 yards against us. No, you fear that Lamar Jackson's going to run for 150 yards on you.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And when you stop his rushing attack, forget about it. Forget about it. Truthfully.
Yeah.
And Lamar can still have years to prove himself as a passer, but
against specifically against the Steelers, his resume ain't great.
In AFC North football, it's not on his side.
Joseph says Lamar Jackson is highly overrated.
Highly overrated.
At the quarterback position, yes.
Don't get me wrong. As a Steelers fan, I think he's very fun to watch. As a football fan, he's fun to watch. But I agree, he's overrated. He is overrated.
Let me say this.
Actually, there's a lot of players overrated.
Let me say it, because I remember people were saying, Lamar Jackson's like this generation's Mike Vick. He's, another Mike Vick and everything.
Don't disrespect Mike Vick.
No. Mike Vick was league's more talented and accurate and better at quarterback than Lamar Jackson.
And I know. Oh, Mike Vick didn't have as much success as Lamar as he did early in his career, and he didn't win an MVP, but Mike Vick was also way ahead of his time. You put Mike Vick in today's NFL?
Mike Vick was revolutionary.
Very revolutionary. Early Mike Vick, and even when he came back and went to Eagles, he was still very good Mike Vick.
Yeah. He gave the Falcons at that time some providence.
Yeah.
Until Matt Ryan came in, but we all know how that happened.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the Bengals secondary is a huge question mark. Like I said, their safeties are still questionable with second-year guys and a rookie in Jordan Battle. And their corners are still questionable. You got Awuzie, you got Mike Hilton, but who's the other outside guy? Obviously not Eli Apple. He's gone. He's with the Dolphins now, I think.
Probably, I'm looking at Cam Taylor-Britt, their other second-year cornerback. Again, very unproven.
Right, but you'll give the Bengals some credit. In the past couple of years, they have drafted well. They have done well with homegrown guys. That's how they built that defense. They made some fine signings and then built through the ground up, like Logan Wilson, Jermaine Pratt, Sam Hubbard, guys like that, right?
Yeah.
Even in the secondary, they've done solid. But it's still unproven, still very unproven. And if you're talking a lightning offense, AFC North, which they all have shown they can do.
Yeah.
So, it's still going to be a tough test for the young guys, man. They got a lot of shoes to fill there. Do y'all think the Chiefs will have a down year? Chris Jones is holding out, and I don't think they have a number one receiver. They do have Kelsey, but no number one. Yeah, who's their number one? Justin Ross, Sky Moore, Rashee Rice. Who's the other one? Do they still have Valdez-Scantling?
Yeah, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
They have no receivers. Now, granted, they didn't have a number one receiver last year, and Mahomes still won another Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was an over 5,000 yards, another great touchdown season, MVP year.
Yeah.
So,
I'm not going to underestimate that. And I really do like Sky Moore. I always like Sky Moore.
And Justin Ross, he's just really making a lot of noise.
If he can stay healthy, we all know what he did in Clemson.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
explosiveness.
He's a freak receiver. He's one of those guys.
And plus, Travis Kelce's Travis Kelce.
Yeah. So
you still got Jerick McKinnon as your receiving back.
So I don't think the Chiefs will have it down here. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how their offense operates with the new OC. Who is it? Matt Nagy, I think.
Yeah.
So
they brought him back.
It's gonna be interesting, but at the same time, it's still Andy Reid. It's still Patrick Mahomes. You can't bet against them. I hate to sound like Tony Romo right now, but it's true.
Well, look at that pass as he throws it to the ground.
Yeah, right. Or like they did, I think it was in preseason. Mahomes did such an unnecessary pass where he ran out of bounds.
Yeah, he jumped.
And then he jumped and threw it, and then it was highlighted. But didn't Burrow do that some odd weeks ago, last year?
Yeah, and
the
receiver didn't even catch it. It was incomplete anyway. So it's like, Jesus Christ.
And you saw the writing on the wall when Mahomes really started lighting the league up. Like, they were really trying to make this guy the poster boy of the NFL, like they did with Brady. And they were kind of forcing that onto the audience, and the commentators were forcing that.
And when they do that, it just makes the player, although he's fun to watch, it just makes the, even hearing his name just nauseating. It's like, okay, we get it. He's great. He's a generational type player at the position, but goddamn, like, get the balls out of your mouth.
Well, it also goes to show you that these sports leagues, right, they will push a certain player to be the poster boy.
Yeah.
They will. And there is some favoritism. There is some rigging in that capability. There is. You may think differently, but that's how sports leagues work. The NBA has been very guilty of that in a number of years.
Yeah.
Yep. And the NFL is no different. The NFL is no different. They did it with Brady. They're doing it with Mahomes, right? So that's how sports leagues works. It's all about business. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Hammer Proud. I don't agree. I don't think it's a bad trade.
Yeah, I don't see how this is a bad trade at all, Hammer.
Yes. Seeing how he had no spot on this roster, no starting time, no playing time, to be real with you, and when we drafted him 4 years ago, I mean, we pretty much got an investment in our return.
It was better to get something out of it than just simply cutting your losses.
Yeah.
He was a guy that, you can get something out of, unlike Kendrick Green.
Exactly. Hard to Explain 32 with a $5 super chat says, it's been a minute since we've won in Seattle, 1983. As for Balt, Tomlin leads Harbaugh 18-15. All 18 dubs were when the Ravens showed up 500 or better. Go just show you the intensity of the rivalry right there, man.
Yeah.
It really does. Yeah, it's been a minute since we won in Seattle. Have we even ever won in Seattle?
He says 83. I don't think we ever did. I think ever since Seattle was established as a team,
Did we ever win in Los Angeles versus the Rams? We had to have, right?
No, we had to.
Here, Steelers.
We had to.
Granted, they haven't been in Los Angeles in a while. They were the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
Steelers versus Seahawks history. All right. Yeah, let's see here. I don't think we've beaten... I could be wrong. Hard to explain. You might be right. 83 might be right. So let me see here.
You have to really track it.
Hold on. How do I... Yeah, I can... Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, label.
Home games. Who's the home team? Seattle.
Good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 83.
God, Jesus
we only beat
Christ.
them one time. That was 83.
That was
towards the tail end of the Steelers dynasty.
40 years.
40 years.
40 years.
And when did we play them?
Week... Is it 16 now? 17?
We play them late, don't we?
No, because there's an 18th week. That would be week 17. Week 17. That would be December 31st.
So over 40
New Year's Eve.
years. 40 years in 2 months.
Can we beat them on the last day of 2023? 40 years. Man. In Seattle. With playoff implications, I am predicting on the line.
Seattle is still going to be one of those teams where they're still kind of a question mark. Was Geno Smith's thing a fluke last year? I mean, I don't know.
A lot of eyes are definitely going to be on Geno, but I mean, they surrounded him with a lot of targets.
Yeah, a lot.
So it's like there's no way this man can fail. Zero,
and they already paid the man.
Yeah. So,
but you also got to credit Pete Carroll, how he's reinvented the Seahawks.
Yeah, because I remember that trade last year. Us included. We have a Seahawks buddy from work previously.
Yep.
He was questioning, what the hell is Pete Carroll doing? Like, are we really going to have Geno Smith as our quarterback? Like, the guy sucks. He's garbage. He didn't work out for the Jets. He's not going to work out with us.
He lit up the league last year.
And that trade is no doubt made the Seahawks the winners. Big time.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time, man. My laptop is not loading.
It's frozen?
It's frozen. My laptop's frozen.
Why?
I don't know. I can't do anything. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute.
It's just lagging. That's what it is. How many windows you got open? Close them windows. That's
I don't have any windows open, bro.
But you got like 6 open.
I have 4. No, 3.
Now you got 3.
Now 2.
There you go. Close the windows. Come on, man.
All right. Give it a minute to load here, because I'm losing the chat. Okay. Gonna miss Dotson, a very good player. Yeah, he's been solid. He's been solid, but there was a reason that they went and got Sayamalu and Herbig.
Yeah.
Again, the writing was on the wall months ago. Looks like the Seahawks are trying to get rid of Devin Bush. They're not getting anything out of him. I hope they know that. In fact, I'm gonna go to Twitter and see what's happening about this.
Well, we tried to warn them.
Granted, he's not a Steeler no more. I really couldn't give a shit.
We tried to warn them.
Swear jar.
Best of luck. Him alongside Jordan Brooks. Yeah, best of luck.
We got a first-round linebacker. Let's go. No, he sucks.
No.
Yeah, I don't see.
Yeah. PG. Yeah, he's so bad. Bush is.
Oh, what a disappointment.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, compared to our linebackers, he would not come downhill, bro. He would just stare at the linebacker and let him just fly off.
That play by Landon Roberts, what was it, like a 3-4 yard loss on the first play?
Yeah.
That play alone by Landon was all that I needed to see. It was more than Bush ever did in his last 3 years.
Dude, that's a shame, bro. That is a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah.
Because look at this. I'm reading this right now. Seahawks may be trying to trade linebacker Devin Bush in danger of not making Seattle's roster. You're telling me a former first-round linebacker,
top 10 pick,
is in danger of making the 53 after his first preseason with Seattle? Come on, bro. And he's comfortable with that.
And keep in mind, this young man is only 25 years old.
And he's just comfortable with, I was a first rounder. I made it to the NFL. My life's complete. He's not worried about a gold jacket like his uncle, like Derek Brooks. He's not worried about a Hall of Fame career or championships or nothing or a legacy for himself. No, he is conservative with making it to the NFL and for the Steelers wasting a first round pick. That's all.
Yep.
What made Miles Jack retire? I never heard. I think it was injuries. I forget what it was, but it had to have been injury.
I know he was dealing with some sort of lingering leg issue. I don't know if that's the reason or not, but congrats on Miles Jack for the retirement. Seriously.
Yeah.
I think before he signed with the Eagles, he tried to get into what was it, plumbing or retail or something like that.
Was it like that?
Something along the lines, maybe. I can't exactly remember, but
that's right. He was trying to get into something like that.
Yeah.
I did hear about that.
So he got signed. He played a couple games, and then he just decided, I'm done. I'm done with the sport.
Yeah.
So,
best of luck to him. Best of luck to him, man. Steelers just made one more splash.
Or just make. Steelers just make.
Okay. I thought this was breaking news. Just make one more splash for a DB or a corner. I think they have to improve corner. If there's two, in fact, I want you guys' opinion in the chat, in the live chat. If there's any position you think the Steelers need to improve, you can put 1 or 2 or 3 or however many you want. If there's at least 2 positions you think the Steelers need to improve for the final cuts or during the 53 or even after the initial 53, what do you think those positions should be? The obvious could be backup center, corner, maybe another safety, another, better safety depth, right?
Yeah. If I had to choose, my top picks are either backup center or backup outside corner.
Yeah. I think those are the obvious, to be real with you.
They just seem very, very bare at the moment.
Yeah. I just fear corner because...
Which is where some people may, consider next year's draft class. I know I'm thinking a little ahead of myself, but for next year's draft class, some people may consider cornerback as another high position with Wallace potentially leaving.
Maybe.
And
you're not going to have Pearson too long.
No. And, center, Coles, that spot could be up for debate. and depending on how he plays this year, if he proves himself even more, maybe we decide to keep him around or extend him for another 2-3 year contract, possibly. Mm-hmm. It really depends. But those positions at the moment, as far as depth goes, is very skinny.
Very skinny. And my fear with corner is obviously Pearson's up there in age. He'll be used as the outside guy, but he'll see time in the slot pretty often, I would imagine. So we can get Joey Porter Jr. opposite of Wallace. If anything happens to Wallace, we got Joey Porter Jr. and Patrick Pearson to put in the slot, outside. Elijah Riley can be the primary slot piece along with Casey and maybe even Shannon Sullivan if he makes the roster.
Yeah.
But, again, it's bare. It's bare because then if you wanted to run sub package, if you want to put Patrick Peterson in the slot and put James Pierre and Joey Porter Jr. outside because something happened to Wallace, you could do that, but I know damn well you're not as confident in that.
Mm-hmm,
I'm not. We can only hope and pray that Peterson, Wallace, and Joey Porter Jr. stay as healthy as possible. That way we have that confident sub-package formation we can run with those guys. Otherwise, if anything happens, then, we're really scratching the bottom for some depth there, for some fill-ins.
Yeah.
In a worst-case scenario, then forget about it. Forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's my fear. They're going to need someone dependable.
But we shall see what happens.
You guys going to any games this year? Not 100% sure yet. I know we're looking at the Bengals game on Franco's 51st anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. We're looking at that potentially.
Yeah.
So we're looking at that, kind of splurge, Christmas holiday. I think that's going to be a fun game. I mean, it's the Steelers-Bengals game in Hines.
Yep,
of course. It's going to be great. So we're probably looking at that. Obviously, you would desire a much better weather environment.
Yeah.
So we might look for something a little closer, but excuse me, we'll see. How you guys feel at wide receiver after Austin at depth? It could be Gunner, could be Boykin, could be both, but
yeah.
If we're talking from a if we're talking from a wide receiver, a receiving aspect, yeah, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible. After Austin, we have no receiving upside. None.
No.
Which is why I'm so glad we got Robinson. But if Robinson gets hurt, you got Austin to put in there. But then who are you going to have as that extra slot piece? Gunner? No. Not dependently.
No, as far as, making a big play here and there, no.
In that factor, I would put Connor Hayward in the slot.
Yeah.
He's very dependent. Not one time have we ever thrown him the ball and it was a negative.
Or if you really need to, and it's a way to get two running backs on the field, do some pony formations. Get Warren involved, or maybe McFarland with his hands and speed.
Or you could put Muth in the slot.
Yeah.
So even if we, even though we won't have much receiver upside after Austin at wide receiver depth, we got guys we can put there. As long as everyone stays healthy, man, I like our slot options.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. After Austin, our receiving depth sucks. They are there primarily and only for special teams value. That's it. You just gotta hope everyone stays healthy. Robert Maher III, next great high school talent at quarterback. That's a name to watch out for. Robert Maher III.
Okay.
Still waiting on Archie Manning.
Didn't
couple years.
Yeah, didn't he commit to Texas?
I think so.
What was it, last year?
I think so. If Corey Trice didn't get hurt, would you have been worried about cornerback in depth? Well, granted, I can't give you a confident answer because I don't know how he would have looked in preseason.
Yeah, of course.
But from the small days he played, this was before pads. He got hurt on the first day of pads, unfortunately, which gives me a Senquez Golson
I
kind
know.
of fear.
I really hate throwing his name out there, but yeah.
Everyone's also looking at, he could be like Calvin Austin. He was hurt all his rookie year and could spark up something big for us in year two. That's obviously the hope.
That's the hope, yeah.
So, if what we heard from Corey Trice in camp translated to preseason, then to answer your question, no, I wouldn't have been worried.
No.
Because he has that size upside, right? What did the Steelers improve at mostly at corner this year was the size factor. Joey Porter Jr. and Corey Trice.
Yeah.
Bring up that size, that physicality, that sticky ability. And there was this play that was very evident in camp where it was in the red zone. And he was going up against Cody White. I know Cody White's not the most physical or flashy wide receiver to go up against, but still, it was a textbook rep from Corey Trice. He kept his eyes on the ball and swatted the fadeaway. I mean, that's textbook stuff from the 7th round guy. So, to answer your question, I mean, I can't give you a clear answer because I don't know how you have looked, but ideally, no, I wouldn't have been as worried. And that's a lot of hype. That's a lot of faith on the 7th round guy. But seeing how the draft was going, I mean, we all were excited.
All of us.
How far are you guys from Pittsburgh? Unfortunately, we are too far away. We are 4 hours away from Pittsburgh.
It's a long drive.
It's a long, worthy drive, but it's long. It's really long. Do you think Mason Rudolph got a fair shake to be a backup to Kenny? No. Not at all. No. He was never going to outbeat Mitch. Never.
No, that contract extension that Steelers gave Mitch was all you needed to know.
Yeah.
Mitch was the primary backup for Kenny.
Yeah, the second they brought in Mitch, you knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
He should have probably never started last year before Kenny came in, but at the same time, if you put Kenny in, I don't know. I mean, he would have been sped up a little faster than if he would have sat, which he did. So, I don't know. That stuff does play an effect.
But sometimes I do think, instead of getting Mitch,
we should have just done what we
could have rolled with Kenny, given him that fair shot. Or not really fair shot, but a chance to get in there as the fill-in after Kenny or before Kenny.
What we're doing with Mitch, we should have just done that with Mason and saved some capital in the process. But no, Mason never got a fair chance to back up Kenny because he was never going to outbeat Mitch.
No.
Just from his experience, just from his pedigree, and from his contract. The Steelers truly never gave Mason a fair chance at much. I'm being honest with that.
No.
And don't give me that 2019 bullshit because he was never going to outbeat Ben as the starting quarterback.
Not only that, but nobody ever anticipated Ben to be out for a full season. It never happened to Ben in his entire career.
Yeah.
Nobody anticipated it, not even Mason. But when his name was called, he just had to go out there and do what he had to do. Yeah. It was a very shaky year for the guy. Very shaky year. Very shaky year for the whole team.
Yeah, it was
in
bad.
General.
It was a rough
year. It
year.
was bad, but fun in a strange way.
Yeah. What's Kobe Hamilton up to these days? Good question. That's a good question.
No disrespect, but not playing football.
Let's see. It's not Steelers football time without you guys, man. We appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Green should get cut, says Keith. I couldn't agree more. Favorite player on the team? TJ Watt.
Yep.
TJ Watt. That's easy. Never understood giving Gentry the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I don't know why they would ever run a screen with Gentry or a jet sweep with Gentry, but that's Canada for you. Most teams do not have depth past 4 wide receivers. Yeah, that's true, but you still want to have some receiving upside. We don't.
Not consistently, no.
Twins, did you see what happened to the Dolphins wide receiver yesterday? And they suspended their game because of his injury. I did.
Yeah. Another player was carted off, and they suspended the game.
We saw too much of that this preseason. That's why I am so appreciative that we were, for the most part, injury-free. The worst injury we suffered was Corey Trice. But regarding preseason, we came out as healthy as we could.
Yeah.
And we are so fortunate at that. But it's unfortunate that we saw as many carts out on the field as we did this preseason. I don't know what the reason was, but it's just it sucks to see. That is one thing you don't want to see.
It's devastating.
Especially around this time where they're trying to take advantage of an opportunity like this, and this stuff's happening. It's the worst time to do it. I mean, no time is good, but especially these young dudes. So fortunate that the Steelers came out as healthy as possible, and knock on wood, hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah.
I hope Jets cut Izzy and we make him our third running back. That would be nice. That would be nice. Bring him back home. I'd love to bring in Izzy. I don't know how they fit him. Do they keep Michael Carter over him?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
You think?
Because he was the number 2 behind Brees till he got hurt and they got James Robinson. And Carter was still getting involved, so I think Carter would be the third.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to bring in Izzy. Bring him back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I think he has some chemistry with Pickett.
But hold on. Didn't the Jets... Hold on a sec. Didn't the Jets draft a running back this year?
Yeah, Izzy.
Was it Izzy? Yeah, that's right. It was. Yeah. You're right.
But they have Dalvin Cook, they have Brees Hall, and they have Michael Carter.
So that's where I got a question. It's like, do they need Dalvin?
Because Brees Hall might still be hurt, maybe. But when you have Aaron Rodgers, do you need to run the ball?
No. No, you traded all that for A-Rod. Like, you might as well just throw him the damn ball.
Let me tell you right now.
You gave him all his freaking Green Bay targets.
No one is falling for the Jets hype except Jets fans because they have no hype to begin with, so they're going to fall for anything that they're given. The Jets are overrated. The Jets are false hope. They will probably be a playoff contender. How can he not be with this improved roster? How can he not be with Aaron Rodgers? But they are not Super Bowl contenders. They are not Super Bowl favorites. I wouldn't even say they're AFC East favorites, bro. They are so overrated. So overrated in a lot of aspects. Aaron Rodgers is a choke artist nowadays, and there's no reason for me to think otherwise because ever since Super Bowl 45, I'm sorry to bring that up, he hasn't won anything. He's been to how many championship games and has choked? And how many of them? He's won multiple MVPs, correct, but he hasn't got back to the Super Bowl.
Nope. Not even close.
And why should we think at his age he can do that? He can't. So I could be wrong, but Aaron Rodgers has showed me that he can't do that.
I don't know. Last year was very unimpressive for me for A-Rod.
Yeah.
I don't care if he lost Nathaniel Hackett and he's got him back with New York. It doesn't matter to me. So, something about last year just didn't really speak to me about A-Rod getting back to MVP level this year.
I mean, the receivers, not going to lie, the receivers are nice.
Yeah, of course. Losing Adams was definitely, a big blow. But A-Rod, and his decisions were still kind of concerning. I think he actually threw double-digit interceptions. Not like it was a lot, but he still threw like double-digit interceptions for the first time in like what?
A lot.
10 years, maybe?
It's a long time, man. He's very protective with the football, but last year, I mean, not so much. I also think that the Sauce Gardner is super overrated. Don't get me wrong, he's a great corner, right? But he is just so overhyped. Too overhyped.
Let me say this. He's getting all this hype after 1 year.
It's honestly giving me Josh Norman vibes all over again. Remember when Josh Norman with the Panthers, when they had MVP Cam and they were going to the Super Bowl and this and that, and he was projected as the number one corner in the NFL when clearly he wasn't. He was super overrated. And when he went to Washington, that was incredibly evident. That's the vibes I'm getting. Super similar. It's like they're pushing the Sauce Gardner agenda, and I'm like, yeah, he's good, he's great. He could definitely be one of the best in the league, but he's not that yet.
Yeah.
He's not. He's really not. And the clip I seen on Twitter where he deflected the football on Jalen Hyatt. Jalen Hyatt beat him for a pass earlier in the game, and then they showed Sauce Gardner breaking up a pass, but you can clearly see the ball was underthrown, and he was literally holding Hyatt's jersey. And the majority of Sauce's tape is that. So I'm not falling for the Sauce Gardner hype. He's good, but they're overhyping him a little too much. Too much. So I'm not falling for the Jets hype.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, yes, they got great play. Garrett Wilson's going to be a great target, right? Him and A-Rod already looking good, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I can't deny that, but I don't think they're going to go as far as many people are projecting.
No, they're not Super Bowl. No.
Joey Weaver with the 199. I appreciate that, man. Says we can use these picks to bring in free agents. Exactly. We could use these picks to bring in guys to improve certain positions, man. Con could be using this capital to trade for guys before the final cuts. I would love to see that. I would love to see it. I don't deny that whatsoever. In fact, I actually hope that's the case because we have extra capital to do it. We have 2 fourths next year and 2 fifths in 2025.
Yep.
So we got the capital to do it. If we can obtain like a better center or an outside corner piece, then absolutely go for it. And Con is not shy of making moves like that. And if he can get like a young player and a rookie contract at a very good price, that is stellar. Because then we are insuranced for a couple of years at that point. Who that would be, I have no clue. I have no clue. But I hope Con does something like that. Levi Wallace be out Josh Norman in Buffalo, yeah. I mean, I know it's Josh Norman's last couple of years in his, I don't even say his
I think
prime,
at that time Wallace was already established as a starter. Norman was just brought in for depth.
Yeah.
But after he got stiffed on by Derrick Henry,
yeah, it was over.
I mean, Norman was like, shit, this is my life now.
Josh Norman is only known for 2 things. His battle with OBJ and his stiff arm suffered by the hands of Derrick Henry. That's all he's known for now. That's all he's known for. Ravens fan here, wishing you guys a successful and healthy season, boys. Looking forward to the reaction video, says Gavin Long.
Hey, listen, Gavin. Best of luck to you and the Ravens, seriously.
Truthfully, man. Yeah. Very respectable Ravens fan in the chat, so shout out to you.
You know, them Steelers-Ravens games every year, it's just...
Always scrappy.
Scrappy and a classic, battle between the best rivalry in football.
Yeah.
You can't deny that.
Always down the wire. Will Darnell Washington have 500 receiving yards? Says Victor Asher with a $2 super chat. Appreciate that, man. The answer is no. 500 is a little too steep for him. For a number 2 tight end with many mouths to feed.
I can see him getting...
Maybe 2. Maybe.
I would say...
Maybe.
I would say...
Maybe.
250. Extra 50 yards down there. Maybe 3, depending.
I think that's still too high. I think that's still too high.
Maybe 3, depending, because you never know. Because there's another thing about Pat, and we love Pat, the Muse man, but the concussions. That's
you're right.
That's always a very worrisome thing about Pat.
You're right. His concussions absolutely is a very silent concern.
Especially with how the NFL takes concussions nowadays, like one little ding, one little hit, and you're in concussion protocol. And I think it's a rule now that if you're in concussion protocol, you're not allowed to exit.
Yeah.
And you're out for the rest of the game. So Darnell may have to see more playing time than we may anticipate.
Well, in that case, I don't know if they're going to use his receiving upside. They're going to...
They may not.
In year 1, I think they're solely going to use him as the mauling run blocker that we intended for, that we drafted him for.
But you never know, though.
Gentry barely saw 200 yards last year. He hasn't seen 20 yards in a single season in his career.
No, yeah.
So now that Darnell Washington is that pure run blocking tight end, I don't think he sees a lot of receiving yards. He could see maybe a touchdown or 2. But
to be fair, though, Gentry really ain't that much of a receiving tight end anyway. He's just a big guy there.
Yeah, I know.
So...
But they're going to... Gentry is now the tight end 3 if he makes the roster.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
That's what I'm saying. How much news will come from us tomorrow? I don't know. I'm hoping a decent chunk of news about some certain cuts. Probably a good chunk of cuts every couple hours or so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
A lot of cuts are going to be happening. A lot.
DZ says, just trolling, laughing emoji, love the content, though, with a $2 super chat. Nah, I get it, man.
Yeah, I see his comment right here.
Kenny picked off, had 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and 13 games. That's trash. And y'all saying Lamar not a quarterback. LOL. Only thing Schittsburg gonna do is have another winning season, missing the playoffs again. DZ, I know you may be trolling, you may not be, but I gotta disagree, bro. I gotta disagree.
Big time, man. I'm sorry.
Kenny has taken so many strides in year 2 already. It's evident. We saw not in preseason, man. Lamar is not a quarterback. We all know this. There may be a game or 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 max. We're like, that's a quarterback.
And then the next week it's like, where'd you go? What happened?
Yeah, that's just how he is, man.
Like you did this in prime time. Why can't you do this now? Like what happened, Lamar?
Exactly. So, and I don't think we're missing the playoffs. I mean, the Steelers may disappoint, and they might be in a position they were last year, but with a better roster and better depth, it's hard to see that. They are definitely going to be in contending. There's no doubt about it. As long as Tomlin is still head coach and the roster is decent, which this roster is very good, I would say. I mean, they're always going to be in contention for playoffs.
Yeah.
Even in years they shouldn't, they still were.
Yeah, the 2 times that they should not have was when Ben went down in 2019 and last year.
Yeah.
Should have never been in contention.
Never.
And somehow, some way, Mike Tomlin just found a way to adapt and conquer. Just pull off the winning season, the non-losing season,
Granted, he hasn't done much with that statement, but
of course,
hopefully that changes.
And that's a big factor, in Tomlin.
Yeah, people say that the fact he didn't get a contract extension might have lit a fire under him. I don't think that's a reason for that.
No,
I don't think he's worried about it. Tomlin's job is as safe as anyone in the NFL. Art Rooney II has already made it known he wants Tomlin for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
They have 0 negative thoughts on Tomlin. There is no hot seat Tomlin. There is no, man, can we improve the position? No. Art Rooney has said he wants no other head coach than Mike Tomlin. So his job is probably the safest out of any head coach in the NFL, outside of probably Andy Reid.
Yeah. And hypothetically speaking, say Tomlin were to get fired, one, he'd be the most highly sought out head coach probably in
A long time.
in recent memory. Teams would be dying, fighting, just throwing money at this man to say, coach our team.
Yeah.
The success that you have, the resume you got, coach our team. And two, who are the Steelers going to choose to replace Tomlin?
Exactly.
Who's out there at the moment that you're going to be like, that's the guy for the next 15 years?
Exactly.
There's nobody.
So the fact that people say that, I don't believe that, but I do think Tomlin does have a fire lit on him. I don't think it's the contract talks or the contract the contract extension he didn't get, which that's not even a fear. He might get that next year. He probably will get that next year, depending on this year's success. Regardless, he's going to get an extension. I see him being the head coach for at least the next 5 years, at least up until Kenny's contract is up. Maybe even past that. I don't know. But all I know is Mike Tomlin's still going to be the head coach for the foreseeable future. But I think he does have some fire lit under him. This is his first full year without Ben.
And there's no...
a second.
Second. But there's no doubt about it that he does need to succeed with this team big time.
Yeah.
But I'm confident that he will.
Hopefully.
With the players that we have, the mentality that they bring,
Yeah.
I'm confident.
PGBVBY. I don't know how to exactly say that, but he said, been watching you guys with the old layout, LOL, all the way from Maryland. Shout out to Maryland, man, outside of Baltimore. I'm not a fan of Baltimore. Or much of Maryland, to be real, but shout out to Maryland. Appreciate you, man. The old layout. Now, seeing where we've been, seeing where it is now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is going to be the second to last time you guys will see this layout, only because we are moving. We'll be moving out very, very shortly, which means this layout will be looking different. I don't know how different. I don't know how it's going to look, but we're going to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah. So at the start, you may have to bear with us. It's not going to be like this, but down the road, we're going to do the best we can to make it the best background as possible.
We already have a vision, and we'll see how everything plays out. But all I know is this background will be no more, but the background is still going to look awesome. You guys can definitely anticipate that.
Yeah.
But that's going to come, I think, this week. Within the next 2 weeks and everything, we're going to be starting to move and getting everything set up. And hopefully by week 1 versus the Niners, we can have everything completely finalized. That's the goal. That's the plan. If not, then it'll be finished some point within the first quarter of the season. So.
Yep.
But regardless, you guys might have to bear with us for a couple things. If we have to go back to 2016, where all we had was a blanket on the wall, we'll do it. But nothing's going to stop the content, so you guys can still anticipate all that to come. As obviously, the regular season is right around the corner.
Yep.
Right around the corner, we have, 14 days.
George Pickens days.
Yeah. We have 14 days to see if we'll be 0-1 or 1-0 versus the Niners. So we'll see. 14 days from now, we will be either happy or mad or ecstatic or a mixture of everything. So 2 weeks' time from now, we'll be watching Sunday Night Football, and we'll hopefully be celebrating the Steelers' victory versus the Niners. That's 2 weeks from now. But before we get there, obviously, we got to see what the Steelers 53, the initial 53 will look like, which is obviously not always the full 53 heading into week 1. So more moves should be expected before and, of course, after. We'll see what waiver claims they put in, see who they add to the practice squad, see if there's more trades coming. It's very insane that right before we went live, this was announced. Breaking news. Steelers trade Kevin Dotson to the Rams. And for the full details, Steelers trade Kevin Dotson, a 2024 fifth and a 2025 sixth, to the Rams for their 2024 fourth and a 2025 fifth. So Kevin Dotson no longer Steeler, and truthfully, genuinely, we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. And we will probably see him week 7.
Indeed.
So good luck to Kevin Dotson. And with that being said, I think we're going to get on out here. We're going to call a live stream. We appreciate every single last one of you for joining us for tonight's live stream for episode 20 of the Steeler Culture Podcast, while we talk about this breaking news of Kevin Dotson and, of course, our 53-man roster prediction, which will probably not be fully accurate, but we'll see how the Steelers roster goes. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be something we got to watch for throughout the next couple days, man. The 53 deadline is Tuesday. So we'll see what the Steelers 53 looks like and see if they make any more trades and news. Otherwise, we'll have that all out and see what they do on within the next couple days. So it'll be fun and exciting to watch. So with that being said, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. You guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And I know tomorrow's Monday. It sucks. It's the start of the work week, but, you know.
Worst day of the week.
It is the worst day of the week. I hate Mondays. I really do hate Mondays.
Yep.
You know, we'll try to make it a strong one. Try to make it a strong and healthy week. And we're just 2 weeks away from Steelers football, man. We are one extra Sunday closer to Steelers football. Think about that. So with that being said, you guys have a great rest of your night. Have a great week. And we'll probably see you guys Tuesday night as we break down the initial 53-man roster. So with that being said, see you guys then. Love you guys. Appreciate all you for your guys' engagement in the chat. See you in the next one.
And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Peace!
There you have it, folks. Appreciate all you guys, man.
Dotson is gone.
Dotson's gone, and good luck to him. Sincerely. Good luck to Kevin Dotson. And hopefully good luck to Kendrick Green because he can't make the roster, bro. He just cannot make the roster.
I like how the thumbnail right here is the two people that...
I know.
One's gone, and the other should honestly not be here.
That was the intended thumbnail, but I didn't think that number 69 over there would have been gone by now.
Well, you see number 53 here. Number 53 should not be a part of the 53.
No, he should not be wearing that number. He should not be wearing those colors. Truthfully.
Camp Block Green should not be here.
No. Not at all.
Got the cord, man.
Got the cord, man. It's time, shows. It's time. But in all seriousness, it probably won't happen. God damn it. Sorry, there.